Currently, at the time of this video, there is one limitation in Blender, is that geometries generated by a geometry node cannot be used to bake textures. So in order to bake the generated textures into image files, we have to apply the geometry node. So let's go ahead and do that. However, I don't want to mess up this plane. I want this as backup. So I'm going to create another plane like that. And I'm gonna create a new geometry node, and I can put this plane here like this. So now I have a perfect copy of the original landscape, and then I can go ahead and apply this modifier. Now this is a real mesh object. So anyway, let's go to the data tab, and you see we have two UV maps, the UV map and the true UV map. So we're going to be ignoring this one because this is not very useful. Let's have a look at this one instead. So go to the UV editor. There we go. And let's see our landscape. Go to edit mode and select everything. All right. And here we have the UV. So the true UV map will make sure that every single vertex will fall at the very center of the pixel. Since the landscape is a 512 by 512 resolution, we will be using the same resolution as the image texture. So go to image editor and click new, and we will set this to 512 by 512, and we will name this color. Get rid of the alpha and click new image. We have to get out of edit mode. There we go. Now we will connect this to the surface to have the color like this. All right. And next, create a new image texture. There we go. And we will choose the color image. And then create a UV map node. Don't forget to choose the true UV map, like so. Or you can use this UV map node right here. We have the default UV and the margined UV. The margined UV is actually this true UV map. All right. And let me show you the UV map. All right. We can turn up the center to have the UV go to the center of the landscape. But in this case, we don't want that. We want the UV like this. And we can connect this to the vector of the texture. So again, let's connect this to the output like so. And make sure to select this node right here. Next, we can go to the render tab. And in here, we can set the sample to something low, like 4 or 5, all right? And go down here in the bake, we can choose emit right here. Everything looks fine. Let's click bake. And it's done. Let's have a look at the image. So this is the image texture that we baked. And now we can go ahead and save this as an image. Now we need to bake the normal map. So this time we will connect this right here. And then we create a new texture. We call this one normal. And this time choose non-color. And then in the bake menu, we can change this to normal. We can now click bake to bake the normal map. So you see, now we have a very nice normal map. And we can go ahead and save this file as well. Now we are ready to use these image textures to render our landscape. So this one will be color, and the color will be replaced in the base color, and the normal will go to a normal map node like this, and then connect this into the normal input of the material, the shader. And let's render. You see, it's much faster. Let's render as before. So you see, it's not as responsive. And let's try rendering this using Eevee. We have to wait a bit for the shader to be compiled. So you see, Eevee is struggling to render. It's extremely slow because we used way too many nodes in our shader. So we cannot use Eevee for this, but let's try using the image textures. You see, Cycles is much faster. And let's try Eevee. And once again, extremely fast. But as you can see, we have lost quite a bit of details after the baking because we are now depending on the resolution of the textures.